What up, everybody? Welcome to episode of 161 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going over to UFC Fight Night, Tybura versus Tuivasa, man. And I gotta say, I mean, it was an Apex card, so I'm grading on a curve here, right? Like you can't compare it. You can't compare it to what we just saw at 299. But I saw a lot of people talking shit on this card on X, on Twitter. I gotta say, name value and all that, sure, yeah, wasn't great. But I thought the fights themselves were entertaining. We got finishes and split decisions, and I mean, barely any snoozy fights. I feel like
It was so weird though because we got, I believe it's one, two, three. We got six submissions and three split
yeah,
decisions, but we also got one KO TKO, but it wasn't from body shots or headshots, which we'll get to it eventually. But it's unreal to think that there wasn't a guy finished by an actual going out. I
yeah,
mean,
man,
you
and
can
it's
argue
great.
there was, but not from blunt force trauma.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy because I this week, got a time to shine my own wheels real quick. I cashed a two-leg method of victory plus 460 parlay, both by subs. So on a night where everybody was getting subbed, your boy was feeling good. Your boy was feeling
I
good.
also I cashed a plus 434 two-leg parlay on dogs, Amarim and C-Rod. And if you
That was
refer
sick.
back to the betting video, I was talking down C-Rod. Reason being was that at plus 130, I kind of felt like that was getting to the point where I would take it, but it wasn't juicy enough. I saw it at plus 160 and I said, give me that. Dulgarian's not two times better or not twice as good ever than C-Rod. So had to throw that with Amarim because I loved Amarim in that fight either way. Got a nice value on a two-legger. Missed my four-leg parlay. We did miss a couple, but did hit our props. Did call out dogs for days. I mean, overall, still profit at the books. Plus, I believe, or plus 145% return. So for
Yeah,
me,
I
and
think.
then I believe
Well,
you were
yeah, my
270%.
270. Yeah.
So we've been cleaning it up. It's 4 weeks in a row. We're positive.
Yeah, no, it's we've been on, and I got great picks for you coming up on this week's betting episode. That'll come out around Wednesday or so. So tune into that. But man, let's dive into this main event here, because man, it's crazy. Heavyweight. I feel like back in the day, like caveman logic, everybody was stoked for heavyweight fights. Um, Lately, the between just how bad the division is and how good the smaller weight classes are, I think most hardcores see a heavyweight main event and almost roll their eyes, especially after the dog shit Gazib Rosenstruik fight we had to watch not too long ago. So I don't think anybody was really that stoked for it. It ended up being a pretty entertaining fight for as short as it lasted.
Yeah, I will say it was entertaining. It was almost kind of tough to watch though too, because after Tarbura got into the grappling phase, it was just ugly. I mean, it was and I love Tuivasa, so that was kind of tough for me.
Yeah,
Now, I'll also say that
yeah.
at 30 years old, 31 for Tuivasa, it's not like he's not long in the tooth by any means, but fight miles. I mean, this guy has been through wars all too
He's been
often,
through
and
wars,
he
even the
owns his
fights
own
that he's won.
brewery. I don't know if you saw that piece on him,
Yeah.
but
That was cool. That was cool that the UFC gave him that his business, that promo. That
yeah,
was cool.
yeah, and it looks like the beer is pretty solid actually. Like when they were running it, I
It,
was like,
it
the beer
looks
looks
sick.
good.
Well,
Um,
it reminded me. There's a place we have out here in Northern Nevada called Fox Brewery, and it's a big, nice brewery, and people go there and spend money and eat. They look just like Ty's making money out that place. That shout out.
Yeah,
That's dope.
100%. Shout out to him. Now, that is the point though, is that now he has a source of income that doesn't have to be going to war, you know? And I just wonder he's young enough to keep doing it and he's good enough where he's not going to never be top 15, especially with the lack of heavyweights in the division. But I just wonder if why? Is it worth it?
I saw a meme. I saw a meme. It was like a purposely bad Photoshop where they put. I think it's Feldman, the Dana White of BKFC, basically the bare knuckle guy,
Oh yeah.
and it had his face poorly photoshopped on the Birdman hand rub, and it was BKFC looking at Tai Tuivasa on a 4-fight L streak. It was such a good meme, but for real though, I can see him getting a bag bare knuckle, just Mike Perry in it. He's perfect for bare knuckle.
Yeah, but I mean, bro, when you're already making good money brewing beer and you love drinking beer and your whole thing is shoeys and just like I like if you're already doing it as a businessman, why do you want to get beat up? You know.
I feel you. I think BKFC would drop that bag on him.
Dude, like, I mean, even before I saw the fight, I saw the beer promo, and I immediately was concerned. I was like, holy shit, he has a very successful business on, like, a pretty good size scale. Like, there's no reason for him to keep fighting.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then Tybura is the opposite, man. Like, that guy's just like, that's what he does. You
That's
could
all he
argue,
can
like,
do.
why? Yeah. Like, Tybura is just like, you wonder, like, what he's still doing there. Because, like, this is over my overall takeaway of this fight too. Is like Tybura is anywhere from like 8 to 12 best guy in this dog shit division, like, and he has been for like what the past 6 years or like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like
he
like
is a legitimate top 10 gatekeeper. Like, any guy that's going to be top 10, you got to get past Tybura. And it doesn't even mean that if he beats you, you're not top 10. It just means that you're probably not top 8, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, seriously, like he will never rise above 7, and he'll probably never fall below like 13. Like he's that good. Like that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but he's not the best, but he's that good. Like in that like team.
He's technical, he's tough, and he's smart, which is like a really nice combination of things to be at heavyweight, I think.
Good chin, good gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible haircut.
Terrible haircut. Also, fully exposed his skin so he could let Tuivasa split him open with a bow.
Yeah, that too, man. But yeah, man, he's 38 years old, so like he was 10 coming into this one. He just beat 9. This was a straight coin toss money line -110 either way. This was a no bet for us. I did pick Tuivasa on verdict. I mean, most people did. It was like 80% of people did. So
do you kind of feel like that's a you like him pick, or would you have like? Obviously, as a no bet, we're saying that it's not good either way, and if it's a pick 'em, then we're saying we wouldn't pick a winner.
Yeah, it's so hard to judge. He's on a 4-fight L streak, and I think it's just like the higher ceiling where we just said that like Tybura has like a mid ceiling, but he also has like a mid floor. Like Tuivasa had a high ceiling. I think at one point he was 3 in the world or 4 in the world.
Yeah, you're correct. I mean, whenever I was hanging out at your house with you, or at your house or apartment, whatever you want to call it, at the crib, that was literally the fight we were talking about making next. Was it going to be Cyril Gane and Tuivasa, or like how would you match it up? Because he was at that point.
Yeah, exactly, and he got the Gane fight and took a badass whooping. But like, so. So it looks like such a high ceiling, such a low floor. I think that's what fans. You're right. Fans like him, and there was an element of that, I'm sure, especially on verdict with no money at stake. But like, I think like people did like. I mean, like when he knocked out Derek Lewis, what that's going to age as at the time we're like, oh, this is a top 5 guy. What it really was is that Derek Lewis was no longer a top 5 guy.
Correct.
Like it was.
I mean, you see Derek Lewis falling back. It's almost like Tuivasa's following backwards. I mean,
with him, yeah.
It's following him backwards. Sorry, kind of rolled my L's there.
Now it makes sense, but I mean, I like Ty as a guy. Yeah, maybe you're right. Like maybe you go brew beer and don't get punched in the face. Like this isn't like I mean, you're trending downwards. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he showed no lack of chin and no quit. I mean, went fully to sleep. Shout out to Tybura getting the rear naked and just, I mean, literally choking the life out of Tuivasa.
Yeah, Ty fought like at the start of the round, like you mentioned, he cut Tybura with the elbow. He landed some signature Tuivasa bombs. Tybura's got a chin though, and just a better cardio and more versatile.
And big ground and pound on the back.
And Ty's so bad from his back. Like he doesn't have a guard. He doesn't really have sweeps. Like if you get on top of him, I mean, it's literally a turtle on its back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's tough. It's a tough look.
Yeah, man. I mean, Tybura. I mean, this proves how dog shit this division is. I moved him up to, just like we were saying, I moved him up to 9. I have him like behind Volkov. He hasn't lost to Volkov. I don't think he beats anybody above Volkov either. But Tybura, I have him like above Spivak.
Tybura did get a bonus too. Just wanted to give him that.
Yeah, got a bonus. Deserved to. First round finish over Tai Tuivasa in the main event. Yeah, damn right, that's a bonus. And I mean, now the question is, would you take him or Robelis to Spain if they were matched up?
See, I don't know, because Despain is still pretty green, and I wonder if I wonder if Tybura and his old ass fight IQ and technician and
Yeah.
toughness can overcome the early onslaught of
Kickboxer,
Robelis, take him
take
down,
him
and
down.
essentially do the same thing. I'd be very interested. That's a very close fight.
I would match make it, but I have Tybura slightly ahead in my power ranking. Same tier, but slightly ahead for the reasons you just listed. Like that was my exact logic.
Now, if that fight does take place, that is one where I could potentially see myself taking the Despain TKO and maybe also do it if the values are right, a little Tybura submission hedge.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, or maybe on two separate parlays.
Yeah,
Like,
or just really scumming it and single betting the same fight.
Yeah. So I mean, that being said, I mean, Tybura, good win, man. Like, and he's necessary for this division. Like, if this division, like, I mean, it's barely even a division. Like, we're getting into like women's bantamweight territory. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
Well, I mean,
you need Tyburas. You need the Tyburas
is,
of the world.
The fact this is 9-10, and we're talking about how Tybura is not ever going to be a top 7 guy by like the standards of what we think a top 7 heavyweight would be, kind of tells you where this fight is like positioned at. It's a fight night main event in the Apex. It makes sense.
Yeah, and let's just keep it pushing, man, because we got some fun shit to talk about up next, man. We got a Bryan battle, Ange Loosa coming in at plus 160. Battle finished at minus 190. We got him at minus 180, so shout out to betting early in the week. And yeah, welterweight bout. I thought the UFC was really trying to give Battle some shine, which I love. Like I said, I've been high on Battle. I have him in my top 20 welterweights, and that was even before last night. And so this was my 3-star lock of the week. And
I rode that 3-star lock of the week with you, good sir. I was in on it too. I thought he was best odds for most confidence in victory.
1,000%. That's how we arrive at our locks. But yeah, bro, like Battle, the no contest gods interfering again.
Damn, man! All we can get is the no contest when we run them on parlays that matter.
Yeah, like the Battle one, the Kizraev one. There was one more that slipped in my mind, but
especially when we'll get to it. But if one other judge sees it, I mean, I saw it that way in the other that leg of our parlay that misses. Then we're talking about this pays either way because no contest just subtracts the leg, so it's very frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. And so I mean, but all right, Battle was doing whatever he wanted. I thought
he was abusing Ange Loosa. I mean, bro, the body kicks, the high kicks that were semi-landing, they were getting blocked, but they were like, high up on the head arm. Like, it's not comfortable to block those like that. And then he was getting some low kicks off, good teeps. Like, bro, combos. He was throwing beautiful combos, moving Loosa around, controlling the pace. It was awesome. Like, I thought it was all 10-9 Battle.
Me too. Yeah, it was really sick because like most people like would either like start like a combination with a kick and finish with punches, or start a combination with punches and finish with kicks. More commonly, he would like kick, punch, and then kick again. Like he was throwing like multiple different kicks in the same combo.
And almost like kind of looked like Muay Thai-ish in there. Like he was really letting him go.
Yeah, he was. It was sick to watch. Body kicks, knees to the body, knees to the head. Even like people thought that like Loosa would have like the wrestling or clinch advantage. He was winning like every clinch kind of position along the fence as well. I thought he was cruising, kind of on his way to like I thought it was well on his way to like a 30-27.
Yeah, I mean, Battle had a minute 30 of control time, and Loosa had 0. So
yep. So he was winning all aspects of the fight. Loosa couldn't take him down. He was getting pieced up on the feet.
Battle also got his own takedown at one point in the first round, too. I mean, he was really just every phase of the fight. Didn't get him kept down long, but really was just winning every phase.
Which is how I saw this, bro. Like, I view
100%.
Loosa like not a can, but like lower level. Like, if you want to be generous and say mid-tier, sure. But like I said, I'm a Battle believer. Like, I think Battle could go with some of the top guys.
And to Battle's credit, I think he realizes, because he talked about in the post-fight, in the interview, like in the press conference afterwards, that like he was saying, yeah, we're the co-main event, but it's not because he's the guy fighting me. He was like, it's because I'm the fighter, and he's just the guy the UFC called. He was like, I'm the A side. If he's the A side, he's not a co-main event.
Oh,
And I was like,
1,000%.
1,000%. Like, Bryan Battle realizes his potential, that they were giving him a push here. Like, I think that's part of his infuriation with the whole situation.
Oh yeah, it was his big moment. Like they were trying to shine him up for something big. 1,000%. Yeah. So a minute into the second round, we get an eye poke, and it was an eye poke. It was a thumb in the eye. I mean, we've seen worse. Like I don't think it was like the worst one ever. But I mean, that's obviously subjective. But get an eye poke. They call the doctor in. Loosa, who I think it's always fair to mention, almost like Johnny Walker, like English,
Language
not his
barrier.
first language, not his first language, and he said that he said the fatal words, "I can't see." No, it sounds like I'm kind of making excuses for him. I'm just like, it's plausible. It's plausible that like maybe he like meant like maybe if he was fluent in English, maybe he would have said like I need to blink it out or like
Or,
you know what I mean, something
my
more
vision's
nuanced.
fuzzy.
Yeah, like something more nuanced.
Like,
you know
that's
what I'm
hard
saying?
to
But
say if
English,
you don't know English, but I can't see is essentially the same thing, but more generalistic and easier to say.
easier to stop a fight because of is what
Immediately
ends
is
up.
how that works.
Yeah, and then I loved everything about this stuff. I'm being honest because we've said it before. We talked about it. We talked about it sometimes on the pod. Like, was that guy like looking for a way out or finding a way out? And like, so Battle straight to Loosa's face was like, "You fucking pussy."
Yeah. He's like, you're a fucking pussy. And then like Loosa starts getting angry. They separate him. Loosa starts screaming, "I'll fucking kill you!" And dude, Bryan Battle's response is so funny. He goes, "How? I was whooping your ass."
Yeah, he's like, "I was whooping your ass," and then he had the perfect response of like, "Oh, so now you can see,
Bro,
like now
yeah,
you
like,
can
now
see,
you
like
can
you're
fight.
proving
Like,
my
now you
point."
can fight. Yeah,
Yeah,
he crucified him in the moment, and like all of Twitter was standing with him. It was awesome. Saw a Bart Simpson meme that was like Bryan Battle tonight, just stand on business over and over and over on the chalkboard. I was like, that's facts.
you see the thing going around where like Bisping was like pretty much like agreeing with him. He was talking to Bryan Battle, and it's like reading body language. You could totally tell he was like, yeah, like he was finding a way out of there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
Bisping has
Bisping,
one eye. Like, if anyone can say it, it's him.
and then Bisping notices they're on film, and he literally gets like an oh shit look on his face. It was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, I like power ranking wise and projecting wise, I'm treating this like a Battle win. I think Battle wins that 10 out of 10 times.
I would imagine Dana sees it that way too.
Yeah, it ends up being a no contest, which sucks. Battle doesn't get his win bonus. He doesn't get a chance for a finish to earn a performance of the night bonus. So, yeah, I mean, he has a big kind of like rain on his co-main parade.
I will say this. I will say this. Chael School of Thought here. The clips that are on social media that are circulating, the hype around him causing that stir after, better than the dub. Now I know he doesn't get the dub money, but like the sell is all there for him.
No. Yeah, he went viral 1,000%, which is worth its weight in gold nowadays, like literally. And then you know what? I think the public is missing this, though. I want to point this out. We can keep it pushing. The public is using this hype, this heat, as they would say, to like say that they want the rematch with Loosa. Like, no, we don't need the rematch with Loosa. Like, you're missing the point here. Yeah, but like that's what I'm seeing all over X. Like from even like accounts I respect, which is like kind of disappointing because it's like you guys don't get it. Like,
yeah,
you guys,
we're gonna be wasting time if we do that.
That's a huge waste of time.
That's
sure.
how I feel. Is like we just saw him beat the shit out of him for 6 minutes. Like what? I don't need to see more of that.
Like, bro, like I'm ready to give Battle a Jingling Yang, a Magni, maybe even a Holland. Like seriously, like I'm there with it. I'm there with it.
Yang would be very fun. That'd be very fun. That's a great fight.
I don't think we need any more Ange Loosas. Like I'm there, like almost like Bo Nickel. Like what are we doing? We don't need Brundage. We don't need Loosa. Like let's get this show on the road. But we said the same thing about Sean. I don't think Battle is as good as Sean. It's not what I'm saying. But like, it's almost sometimes selectively matchmaking guys can do more harm than good. Like you think they're doing them a favor, but you're really just like losing interest and delaying like the success almost. Like, but yeah, we can keep it pushing.
What about? I was just gonna say one more name, but I wanted to make sure I hadn't fought him before. Yeah. What about like Wellington Turman?
You could do it. I'm personally like I can't stand Wellington Turman like as a fan. Like it's like very like personal, not like business wise or matchmaker hat. Like just me as a fan. I'm gonna say hard pass, but like rankings wise and like a bigger name that we've heard of before. Like, I get what you're saying. Like your point, your overarching point of like that kind of guy. Like sure, but then Wellington Turman specifically. Like I'm not like Jones and for, but like I see your point.
I get what you're. I totally feel what you're saying. I totally feel what you're
Yeah.
saying. You know, eventually though, a fun fight you could see there is Michelle Pereira and Brian Battle down the line. That I think that's a
Well,
fun fight.
Pereira's up at 85 now, and
Oh
Battle's down at
yeah,
170.
I forgot they both flipped.
I mean, there's a million fights at welterweight. I mean, there's a million. I mean, there's Michael Morales up there. Said there's Kevin Holland up there, Neil Magny, Li Jingliang. Hell, Elizio Zaleski would be fucking sick. I think
Yeah, that's a good one too. I just don't know if he's quite ready for the top 15, but I think I want him like top 22, if that makes sense.
Like a Joaquin Buckley.
Oh, that's a fun
Nicholas
one.
Dalby. Dalby would work.
I hate Dalby. Just I personally
You hate Dalby?
Dalby.
Randy Brown?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Like we're saying the same tier of guy though, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
25.
Yeah, 25 to
yeah,
15.
Yeah. That's what I think he can go with any of those guys. Like I'm not saying he beats all those guys.
No,
I'm saying
but
he
I
can
think
go with any of those guys.
I think that's like the best way to get like close to a minus 110 if I'm like odds making essentially. You know what I mean? Like the most even his level, if in other words.
I'm gonna grab a beer and then we're gonna talk. This next fight was a fucking like this was a bad look for light heavyweight.
It's too, but all right, we'll get into it. We'll get into it because I got to explain to DMAC that I mean we have Kennedy Nzechukwu if you're asking Bisping, but Kennedy Nzechukwu, or I'm sorry, Bisping would say Nzechukwu.
Yeah,
I got this. Kennedy Nzechukwu minus 675 versus Ovince Saint Preux plus 490. Nailed it. And honestly, I see what you're getting at here with the first two rounds of this fight. Fucking suck. And they're hard to score and they fucking suck. But the third round was an absolute banger, a war. I love the third round.
The third round reminded me of like old like Don Fry highlights.
It was old school UFC. It was rock'em sock'em robots. It was tight.
It was old school. Like, I literally have the word "old school war" in my notes. Like seriously, like I never typed that. Like, that's not like a vernacular that I use. But it literally looked like.
I think the final strikes in the round were like 65 to 50. It was crazy. In the round.
Yeah, that was. But like what I'm saying here, also shout out to us because we told you this was a no bet. You said we said that like Nzechukwu. I get how they arrived at that money line younger, longer. On the losing streak, St. Preux 40. Like, there's all those classic metrics that would make you bet a guy like Nzechukwu. But like, I've never been an Nzechukwu believer. Like he just like you can't trust him. Like he makes like mistakes. He loses rounds.
Bro, I've been on my Saif Saud fade lately too. Like I think his gym is performing horribly lately.
You're right. You have been on that too, and I always forget he trains there. I need to start like noting down what these guys train in my notes. But but yeah, man. I just you can't trust Nzechukwu, and we told you on our betting show that like even like on a parlay like just avoid it at that number, avoid it.
And we even saw the KO TKO line, which is probably his most likely way to victory here. You'd think minus 220. We still said that's not worth it. I mean,
no,
there was just no value to be found on Nzechukwu's level versus OSP, and the chance that this exact fight would happen.
Yes, bro. Seriously, like I basically always thought like Nzechukwu can like easily find a way to fumble off a couple rounds and lose, and that's exactly what happened.
Boy, did he!
Because like rounds 1 and 2, like I use other words that I never use in my notes, but it was tit for tat because each guy only was throwing one shot at a time. So it was like
I have that exact same thing. I have it was a hard round to score because it was kind of snoozy because each guy was essentially throwing one punch at a time.
And so with that being said, I mean I gave round 1 to OSP, man. And I like the calf kicks. I thought the calf kicks were like more impactful and just made more sense than anything that Nzechukwu was doing.
Bro, I actually have the same thing in my notes where I said I can go to either guy, but I'll say OSP for the leg kicks. I mean, almost word for word. It's crazy. Every judge agrees with that, though. This is the one round that everyone scores for OSP.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see if we agree with each other. I think my scorecard's a little different than most. I'll say it. Now, 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 round two, another close round. I mean, almost like identical. Like everything we said about round one, you can basically copy and paste, right? Like it was basically the same exact round. I'll say, I think it was debatably even closer of a round because OSP didn't land as many leg kicks. Nzechukwu was starting to land some straight punches. However, towards the end of the round, I think it was a big left hook. OSP landed like easily the most impactful strike. You're right. It was the uppercut. It was the most impactful strike of like the entire fight to that point. I gave round two to OSP as well, man.
I did as well. I have that he landed the more damaging strikes in the round.
For sure, man. And like when Nzechukwu would go, like it would land. He just would not pull the trigger and just would not really put enough heat on his punches. And yeah, and out of everything you can say about OSP, nobody's not out there saying he doesn't hit hard. You know what I'm saying?
And by the way, so far one judge agrees with us, has the first two rounds to OSP, and then the other two judges have it 19-19 at this point. Round one to OSP, round two to Nzechukwu.
I don't hate that. I mean, I see how you arrived there. Like I said, I thought Nzechukwu did get better in two than one. So like the logic train is there to like arrive at that conclusion. No robbery or anything. Now round three, like I said, old school war, fucking Don Fry special. Just grab your head and punch you in the face with my right. It was entertaining as fuck. Like and it's crazy because I've been watching like old fights. I went back, with all the topics in the news, watching some Mark Coleman fights. Just like I said, some like Don Fry fights, just like because once you look up one, your algorithm starts feeding you that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And that's so fun, like late at night, bored, just
Dan
like watching
Severn.
that shit. Yeah, Dan Severn, exactly. I just watched Son of Hens too, and like that era, and like it looked exactly like this, bro. Like
just
it looked
a war.
exactly like no, it looked exactly like it. But that being said, man, OSP got a knockdown with another uppercut.
Another uppercut, yeah.
I have my notes. It looked like a damn hockey fight. Like it really did. Like it looked more like a hockey fight than an MMA fight. And Nzechukwu was landing in the clinch for sure. But like I think everything after the knockdown was basically 50-50. But like, all right, it's 50-50. One guy gets a knockdown, the other guy doesn't. I got 30-27 OSP. Sorry about it. Like
I don't hate it. I thought the third round I thought Nzechukwu battled back enough after the knockdown where I had it as a coin flip round. I had the other coin flips to OSP, obviously, so I gave this one to Nzechukwu. No problem with the all three rounds to OSP, honestly. I don't think that's crazy to say by any means. Now, what's crazy
no
is...
judge agreed with me.
Yeah, I know, but what's crazy is one judge gave rounds 1 and 2 to OSP, gave round 3 to Nzechukwu, same as me. One judge gave rounds 1 and 3 to OSP, but 2 to Nzechukwu. And then one judge gave rounds 2 and 3 to Nzechukwu. I kind of see the logic.
I like round 2. I like Nzechukwu's round 2 more than I liked his round 3 because like he didn't get dropped. Obviously, I thought round 2 you could give to Nzechukwu. So I agree with like the middle judge more than I agree with.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I agree with Adelaide Bird, and you're not much better agreeing with Junichiro Kamijo, okay?
Yeah, well, no judge agreed with me at all, which means I was probably right, to be honest, all these jagoffs.
Yeah, actually, good point, because Derek Cleary as well, not another not great, and he scored it for Nzechukwu, which I don't even see, so.
Yeah, Nzechukwu did not win that fight. Like at no point, like at points he made it close, man. He lost that fight for sure. Which is just dog shit. And then like it's a mess for my power rankings because like I can't jump Ovince Saint Preux over Nzechukwu at 40 and all the L's and shit. I just can't. Like even though I should, but it's not like that's not what we're doing here. Like this is projecting to the future. Like Nzechukwu, still younger, still taller. Like against other people, I think will match up better than OSP will. But like I did move OSP up a couple spots, and I moved Nzechukwu down a couple spots. But
I
I
think
can't
that's
just
fair. I wouldn't jump them.
I can't.
I would move them way
Yeah,
closer to each other, if that makes sense.
for sure. But like at the same time, light heavyweight's so dog shit. I can't really move Nzechukwu lower than 19 because like I mean I don't know like him you think he should be lower than Jimmy Crute and Modestus Bukauskas? Like I
I
really
mean,
don't.
after that performance, maybe, because how's he going to put enough damage on either of those guys?
You're kind of right. Crute's chin is nuts. But Cruz just had so many L's, and I think Nzechukwu was more active, and he's way bigger. It's just weird. And then Bukauskas has like high highs and low lows, and like, what do you do there? Like, you just reach this like mid ass tier with these light heavyweights. Are like they're not bad, but like they're not that good.
Nzechukwu is like a tough
had good
matchup,
wins.
like physically for a lot of people, but really not OSP. That's what made this matchup so weird. Is that like they were both that like big, long, lanky guy.
I do think some like maybe they match him up with one of these young guns, man, like a Minyang Zhang or a Rodolfo Bellato. Like I believe in those guys, but they need fights against like quality opponents. You know what I mean? Maybe you do something like that.
I think OSP,
and then OSP
continually gets fed to wolves here. I think is the idea, just young wolves, just keep feeding him.
Because that's what they were trying to do here, and it just backfired horribly.
Exactly.
Like this was supposed to be a get right fight for Nzechukwu, like a hype up main card, like get your name out there.
A TKO was minus 220. It was twice as like it's a, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't get half your money back on betting that. It's so likely.
Yeah. So that was a bad look for the whole division. Like I said, that was just a shit stain on light heavyweight as a whole. Because like, what do you do there, man? I mean, the difference between light heavyweight and heavyweight is that at least at light heavyweight you have a legit 15, but the fall off after 15, which I have Anthony Smith at 15, so you could debate if it falls off at 14.
No, I like Anthony Smith. He can show up here and there.
After like the Menafields and Anthony Smiths of the world, it falls all the way off to the Felipe Lins and the Dustin Jacobys and the Kennedy Nzechukwu. Like it's a 15 and it's a cliff. It's a cliff after 15.
Yeah.
So just needs depth, which I said maybe they got the Minyang Zhangs of the world, the Rodolfo Bellatos of the world. You know, maybe they can go on a run here. Fucking hope so. Like I'm really pulling for those guys, like for the sake of the division. Like seriously. But that being said, we can keep it pushing. To a fight that we actually did bet on. I bet C-Rod as a straight. You had C-Rod on a two-leg dog parlay. So
yes,
both
sir.
of us just, yeah, man. I mean, dog straights and like low dog two-leggers. I mean, that's just value city, man. I love that. It's a conservative betting strategy, but good ROI, obviously. But yeah, taking on Isaac Dulgarian, who was like undefeated, but such a small sample size, 6-0, and his only win is over an auto fade can. So it's like, what do you do with that? And then, but Vegas liked it obviously at minus 190. And then C-Rod, some quality wins at bantamweight, kept missing weight at bantamweight. So there was like an element of like mystery of like, kind of like, you take all those variables I just gave you and like what equation do you come up with? You know what I mean? Like you can extract a lot from like what I just told you.
Like I can't lie, that did have me very concerned. Like I'm not even gonna lie. And there were hella weight misses on this card, by the way.
There was. Yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that Dulgarian is a smaller featherweight made me feel good about it.
That's like a good point too.
Yeah, like he wasn't fighting
as a grappler,
one of these monsters.
As a grappling like heavy fighter, it's almost to his benefit to be fighting a guy coming up a weight class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and what really ended up showing here is the fact that C-Rod was up a weight class, didn't have to cut as much weight. Like, say what you want, intentional weight misses or whatever. Like, clearly the guy doesn't like cutting weight, and clearly he's going to have to do less of that, which means he's going to be feeling better. And I thought this whole fight came down to gas tank. Like, I think one guy gassed out. Like Dulgarian skill for skill may be better than Rodriguez, but he just gassed out. Like his gas tank though is the one skill that matters kind of the most, and it failed him.
You know what? That's probably fair because in the first, I don't know, 7 or maybe even 8 minutes, you could argue Dulgarian is just, I mean, overall better in most every position. Not way better, but slightly better in almost every position and technique and placement of the fight, right? But as he gets more tired, you can see it getting closer and closer and closer.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yes, because all right, we got to score this because we have a split decision here, and once again, second fight in a row, I have a scorecard that no judge had. Um,
Really, because this is a wild. I mean, the scorecards from all the judges are absolutely wild. However, I have the same scorecard as one of them.
See, I thought it's crazy that everybody saw it so differently, which makes sense. It was a close fight, but what I'm getting at is like after the fight, I like felt so confident in my scorecard. I was like, oh, like that's how you see this, and I was wrong. Nobody agreed with me at all. So yeah, round one, man. As a C-Rod better, I gave it to Dulgarian. I thought he won the damage battle. He got like multiple takedowns. I thought he won most of the scrambles. He
He
actually
almost got a
cut
sub.
Yeah, he almost got a sub. You're right. It was like the Peruvian neckties, pretty slick actually.
Yeah, it was
That actually made me
super
respect.
slick.
Yeah, because I remember because I was pretty bullish on Rodriguez on our betting episode. You were kind of making the case for Dulgarian, and I like when he threw out the Peruvian necktie. I was like, I'll be real. I didn't know he had that in the bag when I was so bullish. Like I was like, this is what people saw. The guy can go, but you know. And he also cut Rodriguez with some elbows. I mean, great round for Dulgarian in one, but he kind of blew his load. Round two,
Wait. How'd you
more
score
take.
round one?
10-9. You're right. It does matter.
I think that's a 10-8, man. I mean, he did it for all 5 minutes, so duration is there. Dominance, he won every single position, was maintained top position, was in submission position, was hurting him, cutting him open. Damage, you could argue, wasn't typical 10-8 damage, but I think with the other two boxes, I mean, just full check box on the other two, I think this is closer to a 10-8 than a 10-9.
You know what? I don't hate your argument, and I don't even have a great rebuttal other than just like didn't pass my sniff test in real time. And I was also stone cold sober for this fight. I didn't drink at all during this card, which is rare. Drinking right now, but like I was stone cold sober, and I just honestly, to be honest, something crazy didn't even really cross my mind. I was like, Dulgarian won that round. And I'm usually pretty generous with the 10-8, so that's not a very strong argument. I'm not even saying I'm right. Just like in the moment, I was just like, it just didn't strike me as a 10-8. I don't really have too much of more of an explanation. And when I read my notes and I hear your point, like I'm not like really, I don't really have like an X's and O's argument. It's just like subjective. I just didn't really feel that way in the
Well, I
moment.
think C-Rod continually fighting back and never quitting, like, doesn't give the visual of, like, dominance. However, like, technically it was dominant. If
Like
that
he was
makes sense.
forcing scrambles. I feel you. He never got like he did get cut, but he never got like knocked
The
down or
and the
really hurt
see,
or
but
wobbled.
the cut is he got wobbled at the very start.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to make too much of an argument. Just didn't really feel that way. I didn't say 9 Bulgarian. Great round for him. Don't even hate the 10-8. Just on my scorecard in real time. Stone cold sober.
All
Didn't even
right,
cross
now
my
the
mind.
deciding round here. Well, not for you, but for almost everyone. Deciding round here, round two. How'd
Yeah.
you see it?
How did I see it, man? I went 10-9 Bulgarian again, man. He was
No.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that knee to the head that C-Rod got off, like, and he kept getting up from takedowns. So, like, he had a good round, but outside of that knee, I thought he was basically defending most of the round. Like, he was defending really well, but like outside of that knee, I feel like he was on defense. Dulgarian got what 3 more takedowns in that round, which, like I said, you don't get that many unless C-Rod's not standing up. So credit to C-Rod for standing up, but once again, to my point, defending. And once again, Dulgarian a lot of clinch control, which is kind of whack. But once again, C-Rod's defending, and then just once again had C-Rod on the back foot most of the round, i.e., defending. I just, like I said, not super a lot of damage. I feel you. If you want to go purely off damage in a vacuum, sure, give it to C-Rod. That knee was gnarly. I just thought like outside of that knee, Dulgarian basically won every other kind of exchange of that round, every other position.
Well, so like C-Rod outstruck him 36-21 this round, and I thought defended as many takedowns as he gave up and continually got up quick. I just thought
Yeah.
the control wasn't really effective control for Dulgarian, if that makes sense. It was a lot of
It was snoozy.
it was a lot of like
snoozy.
holding him in position, which is kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
I understand that like control, if that's the whole round, like yeah, I'll score it for you. But I think he lost the damage battle overall. So I went for C-Rod.
Very, yes. We have very different scorecards. This is interesting.
Yeah,
But,
so
I mean, that goes to show close house round.
Well, we have-
close house fight. Just
We have one judge that almost sees it like you. He had the 10-8 for Dulgarian in the first. He has the second round of Dulgarian. And then we have two judges that agree with me that have the 10-8 for Dulgarian in the first and the 10-9 for C-Rod in the second.
well, you are gonna hate my third. I go 10-8 C-Rod in the third.
I mean, yeah, me too, of course. But
Okay.
C-Rod did
Okay.
way more damage with his 10-8, but he didn't have as much control. But, I mean, the damage was there.
Okay.
Also, C-Rod colored glass is clearly on for the 10-8 and then not 10-8 for Dulgarian. But it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure a psychiatrist would agree with you. But
yeah, you gave Dulgarian
C-Rod,
too, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying. And I just think this is what a 10-8 looks like. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel you like 10-8-9 versus a 10-8-1, or you know what I mean on verdict. Like,
so you have a draw.
Yeah, I have a draw, and I felt so confident. I thought everybody had a draw. Like I said, when I was watching this in real time, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a draw for sure. Like,
you were listening to Bisping apparently, because Bisping was talking about if C-Rod gets 10-8, it's a draw, and I was like, there ain't no way in hell, Bisping. Like that first round was 10-8, my guy.
swear to God, I did. Like, I wasn't listening to Bisping, but I was like, oh yeah, like fuck yeah, like yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like,
so whenever
like,
they were at it, and it's 28-27 on two cards for Rodriguez and 28-27 on one card for Dulgarian, which is that's crazy. There's only 28. No one got a 29 on any card. That's insane to think about.
Yeah, that is.
But you see C-Rod's hand go up as a C-Rod better. You got to be stoked at that point.
Oh, I literally jumped up and grabbed Nina and I said, the betting gods did us one. The betting gods did us one. Like, seriously. Because, like I said, on my scorecard, I said I had it as a draw, but I also had it 2-1 Dulgarian. So, as a C-Rod bettor, I was like, it's either a draw. Like, I was kind of stoked for the draw. I thought, like, even the draw was like the gambling gods, like, doing me a solid. Because I said, I thought Dulgarian won 2 rounds. So, to cash that ticket it was a straight bet too. It's a C-Rod dog straight plus 160, 1 unit, and I was just like to have that cash. Yeah, we take those for sure. But like that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it is C-Rod colored glasses. I gave Dulgarian 2 rounds.
Yeah, I thought C-Rod won 2 rounds of that fight, but I thought mostly my big takeaway was like if that's like a schoolyard playground fight, C-Rod beat the shit out of Dulgarian. Because by the end of it, he was just beating the shit out of him.
And also, like I said, I mentioned at the start of the breakdown, but I kind of abandoned my point. But like Dulgarian gas. If Dulgarian doesn't gas, like I said, skill for skill and like athlete for athlete, or if this is a 5-minute fight, or to your point, if this is a street fight, it probably is a 5-minute fight. Like Dulgarian, I think does win that. Like it's just. The gas tank, and I have in my rankings, in my notes now by Dulgarian. Only fighter on the roster I have this specific note for. I have gas tank issues. I'm not saying he's the only fighter on the roster with gas tank issues, but like I specifically noted on him until he proves me otherwise. Like he can, you know what? Him and Abus Magomedov, like you can't go 15 minutes.
No, yeah, no. I was like Abus, and I was like, oh yeah, 205 or 185. God damn, I keep getting all the weights mixed up. But yeah, it's crazy to think at 145 he has gas tank issues, like, and he's not that big. Like he's not a big 45er.
Yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, so good win for C-Rod. But you know what this did make me realize? This made me realize why C-Rod was missing weight at bantamweight, because he's a mid-ass featherweight. You know what I'm saying? At bantamweight, he can go down.
Yes, that was what I was saying.
Yeah, but I think Dulgarian is like, may not be signed in 3 years. You know what I mean? Like Dulgarian is like low end, but like but so C-Rod, I haven't seen what's right between Jamal Emmers and Sungwoo Choi. Like, not can tier, but like,
Yeah,
you're
that's
not a world beater.
I agree with that. I agree with that. That's about right because it's like he's not the worst, and I think he has a good skill set, but he's not huge for the weight class. And if he can't make 35, which like clearly he can't really weight bully anyone. So yeah, I mean he's a dog, but I just don't know like how long that's gonna go for him.
Yeah, and it's like, like 20 to 25 tier, you have like Sean Woodson, Jack Jenkins, even like Nathaniel Wood. Those guys eat him up.
I
You
think
know what I
Sean
mean? He's
Woodson
not.
would eat him up.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So yeah, C-Rod mid featherweight. I literally after the fight, like I was like, oh, this is why you were doing the bullshit bantamweight cut because you don't want to with these featherweights. Like I get it now. But he gets the win. Our tickets cash. Thank you, gambling
Yes,
gods.
sir.
Let's keep it pushing to an actual like women's bantamweight fight with action.
Oh, you mean the
Now
highest ranked fight on the card?
You're right. It sure was 10 versus 6 in a Fugaze division. And also, you know what? I'll eat my shit here, but I'll do it like happily because we had said on the betting episode, like, oh yeah, bet the over. But it
Oh
was really just kind
God.
of a shot at women's bantamweight.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm so glad to be wrong on that. Like we got a first round finish in women's bantamweight. Like I'll take that over being wrong. Like seriously. Like
Well,
I'll pay that.
I'll also say too, like, as far as like the odds for the fight go, it's Macy Chiasson who's number 10, but she's minus 245, and then Pannie Kianzad's number 6, but is somehow plus 200. So it already kind of tells you like Vegas had the insight of like, hey, even though this girl's ranked behind, like we like her to win a lot. Now, further insight to that, she has a win over Kianzad in her career, and it's by submission. So that was another play into why you and I were like, oh, we'll bet the over because Kianzad, there's no way she's gonna like fall for somehow getting submitted again, and I don't think Jason has quite the power to knock her out on the feet. And lo and
We
fucking
said
behold,
exactly
man,
that.
I mean, good goddamn, Pannie Kianzad. The one thing you can't do is get taken down. And what the hell do you go out there and do early? Get taken down. Embarrassing fight IQ for the number 6 fighter at bantamweight. This is once again, the theme of this card is, hey, big fights with no depth at the weight class.
Yeah, I was about to say like just make your division look bad night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for sure. That being said, man, I do forget Macy Chiasson's fucking huge. She's 5'11". Like 5'11's tall for a men's bantamweight. She's like the same size as Sugar Sean, basically.
Was she the one that they were saying weighs about 160 on Fight Night? No, that's Chelsea Chandler.
No, yeah, that's just Chelsea Chandler.
But
But I
I'm
mean,
sure
hell,
Chiasson has to be
it
close to
has to.
55 or 60 as well because she used to fight at 45.
Exactly, for sure. But yeah, Chiasson got like a trip takedown, took the back pretty smooth. There were some decent little back and forth scrambles to start the round, but 3 minutes 54 seconds in, we get a round 1 rear naked choke. Performance of the night bonus for Macy Chiasson. And like I said, I even said this whenever on our betting episode about just like there being 2 women's bantamweight fights on this card is like this division needs something to happen, anything at all.
Thank God.
And this is it.
I agree.
This is it. That's what I'm saying. A first round finish. Like if this is a snoozy decision, nothing changes, nothing happens. Like Chase Young. I mean, now I know how you answer this because I know you hate Juliana Pena, but like Juliana Pena at 7, I moved Chase on up to 8 because the only thing is Chase on every time she's got an opportunity against a top 5 fighter, she shit the bed. Pena has not shit the bed like a couple times. You know what I mean? Like she's kind of proven it at the higher level. Chiasson's huge though. I mean, absolute like reach advantage. But another thing that's frustrating about Chiasson, I think this is why she shits the bed in these big fights, is so she has a reach advantage over every woman on the roster, quite literally. But yet she loves like clinching and takedowns. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like an oxymoron. Like it's like her style doesn't fit her like body type.
Man, it sucks to say, but like Holly Holm obviously booked against Kayla Harrison, so if Kayla Harrison then wins, and like she'll slide into that spot. But it's like Chiasson probably fights who next? Caitlin Vieira or Aldana?
Well, I think she has an Elder Aldana already, if I'm not mistaken. I think maybe Caitlin Vieira. I want to say Yana Santos still has like a ranking, even though I don't think she should.
Yeah, she's number 7 in the UFC rankings.
Exactly. And so I can see them maybe doing that fight.
But I'm saying if it's new blood like we're talking about, and she just beat number 6 in their rankings, then you got to keep pushing her.
You would think. I mean, Norma Dumont, I think is floating around out there somewhere.
She was already ranked behind Chiasson though at 11.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, names above Pannie Kianzad are
what
Holly
about
Holm, who's booked, and then Irene Aldana, Vieira, Mayra Buena Silva, and Pena. But it's like
Mayra Buena Silva don't got an opponent.
I'm okay with that. I didn't know if you were down with that big of a push, but she did just first round finish number 6, so like fighting number 2 isn't the craziest thing.
Oh, and if it was a stacked division like men's lightweight or welterweight, I wouldn't be saying this. But this division, it's almost like men's flyweight. We haven't even talked about Erstad yet, but it's like, sure, like we need action here.
Sure, give me not rematches. Give me not rematches.
Yes,
although this was
not rematches. Ooh, Buena Silva?
No, I'm saying Kianzad and Chiasson.
Oh yeah, but we weren't stoked for this fight. But we're saying this fight could potentially give us something that we might give a fuck about. Whether it's Vieira.
Could stoke me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure, man. So performance of the night bonus, like I said, I'm higher on Chiasson today than I was 2 days ago. So, I mean, job well done to Chiasson. Job well done to Chiasson.
I couldn't agree more. Much higher on her. As far as what you do with Pannie Kianzad, I mean, for me, it's almost like an who cares, but like, now I think like you could feed her to like a Chelsea Chandler, a Norma Dumont. I don't even know who the fuck Melissa Mullins is, but sure.
Yeah, there's that Melissa Mullins undefeated prospect. There's like the Nora Canoles of the world. There's Tainara Lisboa is the prospect I'm highest on out of all those. Like I was gonna suggest Tainara Lisboa. Like out of all those young, kind of uncredentialed but has potential women's bantamweights, I'm the highest on Tainara Lisboa out of all those. So I wouldn't mind seeing her get the feeding personally. Get some life. And like I said, anything that will give this division any reason, any intrigue, any life, any new matchups, any excitement, any new contenders, anything that fosters that. It's almost like when you burn down a piece of the forest so it'll like regrow.
Right, you gotta wait for that regrowth.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Anything that'll like cause some fucking new growth, I'm here for on women's bantamweight. So.
Fair.
But let's keep pushing to some men's middleweights here.
And we can shine our wheels here.
Oh, yeah. Look like some real smart marks. You got Gerald Meerschaert coming in minus 245. You got him at, I think, minus 250 on your parlay. But more importantly, we both got him at plus 100 by sub method of victory prop. You took it as a straight bet. I took it on a two-legger with another method of victory, and this leg does end up cashing. Because, I mean, Bryan Barbarena, I think, is coming off 2 rear naked chokes in a row, if I'm not mistaken, before this one. And GM3's only path to victory is getting a sub.
27 out of 35 victories are subs. I mean, this guy's fucking Jared. You might as well call him Jared from Subway, because that's the only way. Buy sub.
But like seriously, the fact that it was plus 100, I was kind of shocked. Like what? I don't know. Like, call it MMA math if you want to. It seemed fairly obvious that. Like,
I think that's fair though. Like giving me even money, like saying like, "Hey, handshake deal. Like he has to win this way, but this is how he'll win." And they're saying like, 80% of the time you'd be right, so we'll give you a 1-to-1 ratio. Like that seems right.
I'll say, and maybe it's just the hindsight 2020 talking, but the Kennedy Nzechukwu minus 220 by KO versus this by plus 100, but that's why we bet this, and that's why you listen to our picks on our betting show and you hit subscribe. because
Well, I was going to say
we point that shit out.
that's the shine of our wheels, is that we're sharp enough to realize this plus 100 is the real value, and that minus 220 is dog shit.
Yep, 1,000%. Shine them up. Ribs is shining here. Barbarena plus 200. And we're talking in our group chat. Our boy Michael was like, yeah, I'm just not as down on Barbarena as y'all. And this isn't to like, dunk on him or anything. My response to that was just like, it's not so much as like being high on GM3 as it is like Barbarena just gives it like mailed it in vibes. Like he went up a weight class. He's only 6 foot tall. Like it's not like he's so big that he was killing himself to make welterweight like a Hamzat Chimaev.
Bro, he looks fat at 85. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's what I'm saying. Like he looks like he doesn't even work out really. Like he looks like he came off the couch and just ate a burger all throughout camp. Like seriously.
Barbarena's probably best attribute is his chin, and against GM3, that's not even a thing that can help you.
No, for sure. And so yeah, I mean round one, Meerschaert gets 2 takedowns. He gets some Kimura attempts off, some ground and pound. And so I was kind of conflicted at round one because I was like, all right, he showed he can get the fight to the ground 6 to midnight as a bicep prop. But I was like, the fact that he got it there and didn't finish it, I was like a little cause for concern. Round 2 is going to start on the feet. So I was kind of conflicted, but like I was definitely stoked when he was getting these takedowns, obviously. But I was just like, I mean, these takedowns are going to get harder the more like tired you get, or the more they say like submissions are harder to get the more slippery you get. So when he had him down twice in round 1 and didn't finish it, I was like, all right, he proved he can get it there. Like, how are we feeling here? Like, how are we feeling?
Like, all right, GM3, like, you got the round 10-9, but, like, I don't need you to get rounds. You could lose all the rounds, but I need you to Anderson Silva triangle this man by the end of it all.
I almost forgot to fucking, like, score the round because I did not give a fuck. True scumbag.
So, yeah, does win the round, but then moving forward to round 2, immediately gets another takedown, and, I'm thinking here, once again, 6 to midnight, like all the way top of the fucking clock. I'm knocking dust off the top. And once again, it starts having that problem of like, we're having to really work here. I'm not really seeing these submissions come in. Now, that being said, with about 90 seconds left in the round, he starts to get to really good position, and I start to feel a lot better about how we're looking.
Well, and to our point about Bryan Barbarena being fat, like he just started accepting those positions.
Yes.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and it makes sense. Like, if cardio is an issue, are you in shape is a question that we had about Barbarena as part of our betting logic. And this fight ends at around the 9.5 minute mark. That's about when guys that aren't in great shape start to gas out. So, I mean, like that's why I say, like, shout out Uncle Chael. Like, they say MMA math doesn't work. MMA math works all the time.
And to Barbarena's credit, I mean, he didn't tap. He did go fully out, and GM3 does have an anaconda-like squeeze because, I mean, that was around the face. It wasn't, like, around purely the neck. He just squeezed him so fucking hard that he cut off all the blood to his head.
Yeah, it was pretty gangster, too, when GM3 talked about it on the post-fight. He was like, because he said basically exactly that. He's like, oh, no, like, it's a common – he said it nerdy and badass at the same time.
Yeah, literally.
He was like, it's a misconception that you can't, like, finish a choke on the chin. Like, you can. You just have to squeeze really hard. Like, it was like
some caveman math.
Yeah, like, it almost reminded me of, like, some shit like Mikey Musumeci would say or something like that. But, like –
little GM3 – I'm sorry, GM3. A little BJJ Savant type shit to say, like, oh no, if you just squeeze it hard enough, like, you'll get it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, and like I said, I think Barbarena, like, gassing basically, like, had a lot to do with it as well.
I think gassing, to your point, like, his cardio, his heart rate had to be crazy high, so, like, he's needing a lot more blood more frequently, so, like, even that small amount of time cutting it off passes him out quicker.
Yeah, 1,000%. So, yeah, I mean, and like I said, I mean, you're saying shine my wheels. I did make the, kind of somewhat bold choice to do this on a parlay with another method of victory. So I guess I'll take credit for that. But as far as the GM3 by sub pick, that's all you, my man. That's all you. I trusted my dog on that one. I mean, Harrison was bullish on that. And then I saw the plus 100 value. Made sense to me, aligned to, like, when we put our minds together on that one, like, between my ranking system and your bullish, like kind of gut feeling and just kind of obvious path to victory for GM3. Like I trusted my dog and we cashed that ticket, man. It felt good. Felt real good. I'm not gonna lie, I might have got the method of victory bug. Because that is a great way to like
it is a great way to
value.
add value. Yeah, absolutely. Especially in situations like that, man, where like you read deep enough into it, or like the O'Malley situation where like I had to read on the decision. It's like, man, when you really see it and can see it for how it should most likely play out, it's almost better to add the value for most likely outcome.
For sure, bro. Because like I mean, already anything can happen in a fight. So if you want to say like, oh, a trend might get broken, like sure it might, but like it also might not. Like I don't know. Like
right. Like if we're gonna assume the trends hold true, then like I'll bet to all the trends, assuming they are correct. Now if they're not, then I'm fucked either way.
Yeah, because if you just want to be like, oh, everything's so random, like I might as well go throw that, $10 in a slot machine. You know what I mean? But like, no, like we look into things, we think we see things. We got to trust what we do here with finding these trends and these metrics.
I'll say this: I haven't hit a slot machine 4 weekends in a row. I'm in positive each of those weekends.
No, never that, man. But yeah, man. I mean, as far as what's next for GM3, honestly, Shabazian fights next week, and if he wins, I wouldn't mind seeing that matchup between those two. I mean, there's Brad Tavares out there. There's like a Jacob Malkoons of the world. I think that level of guy. I don't know.
100%. Yeah, kind of over the hill sunset fights here for GM3. That's kind of what this was as well, in my opinion. That being said, fucking sunset on Barbarena. Get him out. Get him out. I'm done.
I'm over it. I'm for sure over it. Yeah, I'm over it. You know what I could see him doing? Meerschaert Anders. I could see him doing.
Once
Meerschaert
again, I'm
Anders.
okay with that.
Yeah,
Could be
I
a
guess.
snoozer.
Yeah.
Could be a
But
cage
you know what,
clinch
though?
snoozer.
Hey, though, good luck if you're Anders trying to like engage that closely with Meerschaert. I feel like he could like jump on something.
I think the same for Tavares.
Yeah, true that. And then Barbarena, like I said, yeah, I'm over it. Like, if anything, I'd want to see him back at welterweight. He's 0-2 at middleweight against not elite middleweights. So, like, this experiment's over. If anything, maybe like welterweight, like, just against some young prospect, some contender series guy. I don't fucking know. Prates, give him Carlos Prates. I don't know.
Crazy that you say that because in my head I was thinking, but I didn't know if it was crazy to say. The only way I'd be down to see Barbarena again is if he was willing to commit to welterweight, but I don't think he is. So therefore, I'm just like, yeah, cut him.
I'm over it. I don't think. And it's like he gets this reputation as this fan favorite, and it's just like,
Not my
maybe
favorite
for some
anymore.
people, yeah. Like I'm
Kind of
cool
fell
off
out
it.
of that grace. You know that happens whenever you put out performances like that. And you kind of just don't look like you give a shit anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Because I see stuff fighters talking about like, oh, the minute you lose, the fans jump ship. It's not losing, but like dog shit performances, like yeah, you'll lose me as a fan. Like if I think you don't care, like
yeah, like Natan Levy. I mean, we'll get there on the prelims, but yeah, that does wrap it up. I guess to the main card.
Yeah, we'll get to these prelims. Hit subscribe. And like I said, mainly because we're going to give you our winning picks coming up on like Wednesday. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you're a real hardcore, watch every single fight every single week like we do. We're the only show out there that talks about every single fight every single week. So stay tuned and check out our prelims video coming up next.
And I'll give you this little insight as well. The reason we're 4 weeks positive on fight bets, which typically considered one of the hardest things to bet on in sport, NFL. Right ahead of MMA, they say, is because we are doing these deep dives on fights, because we are breaking them down, because we are taking these notes. So for you guys at home that are wondering how are we getting this betting success, it's the same thing. So if you want to watch along and learn how to break down fights all the same, it's a great way to do it. So for anyone coming from the betting videos wondering how, take notes on these. But yeah, look ahead to the prelims. We'll see you there.